Todd, truckers boycott Colorado over the state's 110-year sentence for a driver who caused a deadly accident. 4.5 million people are demanding the governor grant the driver clemency, with some calling out the hypocrisy as violence surges across the nation. Here to discuss, Tony Salas, co-founder of the Greater Houston Trucking Association. And Tony, there is a lot to discuss on that front. So first of all, in 2019, you have this truck driver who gets into an accident. 4 people tragically die. He's sentenced to 110 years behind bars. And now truckers are boycotting the state of Colorado because they say he's over-sentenced. Where do you stand on all of this?
Sure. It's certainly a topic that a lot of truckers are passionate about. Number one, we mourn with the families of the lives that were lost. And we believe that Rogel is unfortunately a victim of circumstances that were beyond his control. We unequivocally stand for the rights of the trucking community, the drivers, and the families that stand behind these people. And we believe that this is an unjust sentence, given that there was no willful intent or premeditated malice to do any harm. And we are ready to march to make sure that there's justice served for him and his family.
Yeah, so you say that this truck driver, his name is Rogel Aguilera Medeiros. He was just 23 years old at the time. He was going 85 miles down a Colorado highway, crashed into about 24 cars, and like you said, tragically killed 4 people. But he says that his brakes failed. Still, he was sentenced to essentially life plus time behind bars. You say that this boycott, though, no trucks to Colorado, will make sure that something like this doesn't happen again. How do you connect those two things?
Sure. So number one, let's review the accountability. At the time, he was 23 years old. He was new to being a CDL driver, and he never previously before has driven to Colorado. So if we look at the terrain here in Texas compared to Colorado, it's very different. Colorado has a lot of mountains, has a lot of hills. Number two, the company that put this man on a road failed in checking to make sure that the equipment he was driving was operating in the way that it should. So when you look at accountability, we believe that it should be placed on the company. And number two, when you look at Colorado and you look at the nation, we're experiencing a lot of supply chain issues. We're also experiencing a lot of inflation like many of us haven't seen before. And this is no way to pay it forward to the industry that was able to deliver our goods and services in the midst of the pandemic. We certainly need to do better in terms of laws and in terms of accountability on the private sector. Yeah,
you just touched on something I want to drill down on a little bit. Amid this specific tragedy, there is a supply chain issue across the country. So this No Truckers to Colorado boycott is spreading like wildfire on social media. There are videos that appear to show truck drivers refusing to go into the state of Colorado. You could see the trucks lined up on a highway there saying no trucks in Colorado. Do you think that this will exacerbate the supply chain issue at all in the state?
There's a lot of import and export that comes through Mexico, so I don't think that there's a supply chain impact. I do believe that it is an opportunity for us to use the boycott, to stand behind the boycott of business industry to Colorado, for us to bring justice to Rogel and his family, and for us to review this as a nation and to really take a look, do we really want to do this to the drivers that are putting their life on the line every single day for us?
Well, there is a petition to grant this truck driver clemency. It has 4.5 million signatures. So we're going to be following this case. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Tony. We appreciate it.